What's going on in Multiverse? It is Xander once again here with another video for you guys. We got a mini pod episode in store today for you guys. Just a lot of stuff that I'm really excited to talk about in the sports world. Talking about the start of Formula One, a lot of the different trades going on in the NFL, and then we got some movie and TV trailers to discuss, and a big trailer that's supposed to come out this week, so we can kind of make some predictions about that and try to do that in a timely, fashion for the 30 minutes where I have you guys. So, without further ado, let's just get straight into it. This segment I just called "Let's Go Buffalo," because the Sabres and the Bills have been making some headlines, making some moves over the recent weeks. Both doing trades recently. The Buffalo Sabres acquired 2 defensemen from Winnipeg and then a center from the Rangers. That is Logan Stanley, Luke Shen, and Sam Carrick. I was happy to see this move just because it adds more depth. My concerns have kind of come up just from the play of the defensemen specifically. I think that it's great to have them on the team for that depth, but overall, in comparison to some of the other defensemen, like I know the Sabres defense is running pretty thin. So it's good that they added them for that, but like when we're looking at the skill level, I think that Metza guy should definitely be higher up in the lineup just because of how I've seen these two guys play, Shen and Stanley. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it was good to add them for the depth. Hopefully, Lindy Ruff can make some sort of, adjustment when it comes to the lineup, because I was at the game against Toronto yesterday, and Stanley had another game where he had a costly turnover when he was on the ice that led to a goal. Stuff that you don't always think about, right away, but when you kind of add that up, like now it's been 2 games that this has happened, it kind of should tell you that an adjustment should be made, whether it be the line that he's on or whatnot. So good pickups, I mean, for the depth purpose, like I've reiterated multiple times. But then Sam Carrick has been pretty good. I mean, we got him to win some faceoffs and just be another added center for the squad, and he's won the faceoffs, and he's had a couple of goals already in his first couple games. So that was really awesome to see. He had the lone goal against the Capitals last, however many days ago that was. I'm pretty sure that was him. So good moves from them, and they are first in the Atlantic right now. So kind of a big deal. Something like this has not been seen from the Sabres in a long time. So shifting over to the Bills side of things, they made a lot of moves. DJ Moore, Bradley Chubb, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Geno Stone. Those guys were probably the more bigger additions. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. No, I really think it was those. I mean, the big 3 are Moore, Chubb, and Gardner-Johnson. The Stone one we'll talk about as well. I think that's a little scary, but DJ Moore got to be an A, because he's a great player. He has deep threat potential. He creates separation, and he also, has a lot of good run after the catch, yards after the catch opportunities. He is 28, but then again, you're getting a solidified guy. The Bills, they took Keon Coleman 2 years ago thinking that he'd be able to elevate to a wide receiver 1 position, and we just haven't seen that, and it's just been really bad. So to get a bona fide good player that's been around, that's contributed to multiple different teams, had 1,000 yards on the other previous teams, is great. So DJ Moore on the Bills, it's got to be an A. Josh Allen gets that weapon that he's been needing for a while, and the whole thing is when he goes right to the number 1 spot, you're going to see the other players elevate in their positions too, because once the defense is focused on him, then you're going to have Shakir open on the crosser. You're going to have, other opportunities for guys to get the ball, and it's going to be really good for him. Moving on to Bradley Chubb. This is probably a B. I mean, Bradley Chubb, he is. Then again, it's good to get another like bona fide rusher. He is older. He has a pretty staunch like injury history. But the big thing here is the Bills finally get another edge rusher to complement their line that has struggled with getting to the quarterback for a while. I know like the Bosa move was supposed to do something last year, and he was just again he struggled with injury. He the defensive line was just run thin for those guys, so that was rough. But getting Bradley Chubb is a good added piece for depth purposes to help mature the other guys, and I expect them to also possibly draft an edge rusher. I mean, he had 8.5 sacks last year. It's pretty solid. It's better than like anybody on the Bills right now. So, it's an upgrade. It's an upgrade. So I'll give it a B. I'm excited to see him. The big thing with Bradley Chubb is he is a power rusher, a bull rusher. He doesn't really use much finesse. But we'll see. We'll see what he can do. I think that with the new defensive coordinator, he might fit in with the system better than, what I'm kind of referencing in my mind. Just looking at the past Sean McDermott defense. So he might fit in there really well. CJ Gardner-Johnson coming to the Bills adds a nice, piece for the safety position. This is probably like a B minus or a B, just because he does have like some locker room like problems that we can't like just graze over that. Like morale plays makes a big difference when you're trying to build a team and build a championship team. So, but he like you can't. He's very solid. I mean, he did like kind of mediocre like last year, but he was on the Super Bowl winning Eagles team, and he's just been like a solid player wherever he's gone. He's a good ball hawk, and that's kind of what they need. And he should complement Bishop really well as long as they can get along. Because Bishop can kind of, play further down, and Gardner Johnson can kind of be like more of the deep guy. And then this Geno Stone move is kind of an unknown for me right now. I'm going to give it probably like a C minus because of the fact that I've heard really, really bad things, but also the Bills secondary is just run really thin. So I think getting anyone that has starting experience is pretty good. Excuse me. Yeah, he's got a lot of really bad lowlights. And that's kind of like it's kind of like obviously a part of it. But then this Alford move from the Falcons, I think is a good one. I think that's probably a B. Just because he's still young, he's still got opportunities to develop, and he's joining a lot of good DBs with Hairston and Benford. So I think that can be good for the Bills. And then so those are probably all of them. Had a little bit of a coughing fit there. Jeez. So that's the Bills moves. I know there's been a lot of notable moves around the league. Trey Hendrickson gets to go to Baltimore on a big old contract. Because Baltimore did not follow through with Max Crosby. It sounds like Max Crosby is going to stay in Vegas for whatever reason. So that's good and all. I wanted Max Crosby more than Trey Henderson just because Trey Henderson is 30 and he hasn't played a lot of games in recent years. And I don't know. I just think Crosby is a better guy. But then the Bills got Bradley Chubb, which is kind of like that same level. I think Bradley Chubb is the same draft class as Allen, so he's probably 29 or 30 as well. So it's it's all right. I'm trying to think of some of the other big trades. KC gets a running back in Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker coming off the Super Bowl MVP. I think it's a good move for him. Kansas City struggled with the run game for a long time now. So it's good that they have that piece. He should add a decent amount. I mean, I wouldn't say Kenneth Walker's like a top running back, but I think he's going to be really good for them. And, they can still duo that with Kareem Hunt, who's, fine on the goal line and getting in there and whatever. So, yeah, that's another solid move. And there's a ton of like just big contracts. Like I know the Panthers have just added so much to their defense. Panthers have made a lot of great signings. Yeah, a lot of exciting stuff going around the NFL. I'd love to spend more time on it, but I'm gonna try to switch gears. Once again, just another note on the Sabres. Yeah, they got to figure out a couple, the defensive pieces they've got to figure out. When I got to see them play last night, it was a little sloppy, but you're going to have games like that every once in a while, especially against, kind of like a trap game opponent like that, like the Leafs. And it was sloppy on the Leafs side too. It was just a messy game. So if they can get that smoothed out, they're going to need to because they have a challenging road trip to get on now. They're going to Vegas for Tuesday's game, so that'll be a test for them. To switch again, F1 we've been through 2 rounds of the F1 season. Round 1 in Melbourne and round 2 in Shanghai. 2 very similar stories in these races, which is Mercedes has a rocket ship and Ferrari is right there with them. Mercedes does definitely have a big gap on the rest of the field, but the big thing is the Ferrari drivers, I think, have like the best lineup there is in F1, and I think that makes up for the lackluster parts of the vehicle. Although I do think that the Ferrari car is also very good, and if their upgrades that are coming, fulfill their purpose and are very good, I think that they will be able to, close that gap. The big thing is the Ferraris are way faster in the corners, and the Mercedes are just smoking everybody on the straights. So it's going to be very track dependent, and it's also very driver dependent for the tracks too. For example, Hamilton did better, yesterday in Shanghai than Leclerc just because that's more suitable for his driving style. So all this to say, the battle between these two teams, as long as it, maintains throughout the season, is going to be so unbelievably great just because it's track dependent, it's driver dependent. I have a feeling that Ferrari are going to catch some wins in the next couple of races just because of, that fact. I think that eventually Mercedes is going to slow down a little bit and it'll all kind of even out. And I think to that as well, I think McLaren is going to figure things out. They did not have a good, round 1 or round 2. They didn't even start the race in round 2. I have no idea what happened there. Some sort of mechanical failure. They couldn't even get on the track. So yeah. But I would bet that McLaren's going to pick things up. I think that my biggest concern is probably for Red Bull because their pace was not there in excuse me. Their pace was not there in Australia, nor was it there in China. The pace is rough. I saw a graphic when I was setting up this script for today that the Red Bull is technically slower in some parts of the circuit than the Alpine. So it's just it's tough. I feel for the Red Bull fans. I think that they can still figure things out. They can still figure this car out, but that's the big thing about regulation changes is the field is all over the place when this type of thing happens. You have James Vowles from Williams hyping up this year for years, talking about we don't care about any of these years. We just want 2026 with the new regulations. And Williams is nowhere to be found. So a lot of talk, a lot of different things going on. But yes, I'm confident that McLaren will bounce back. Red Bull, I'm really unsure about because this is like pretty shockingly poor performance. Max is very frustrated with the car in comparison to the Ferrari guys, and the Mercedes guys are loving their cars. So we'll see what happens. It's a long season. Another thing was the races in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia were canceled due to the conflict there, which is a big shame. Both those circuits are awesome, so hopefully they can figure something out. I don't know if they're going to replace those circuits with different tracks or they're just going to have a shorter season. Or maybe they're just postponed until something changes. It is a long season, so maybe they can pick those races up later in the year. But I love Bahrain, so that's a shame. Hopefully they can end up racing there still somehow this year. So yeah, great first 2 rounds of F1. Round 1 was the top 3 was Russell, Antonelli, and Leclerc. Round 2, Antonelli, Russell, and Hamilton. Just awesome stuff. I mean, seeing Kimi Antonelli win his first race was awesome, and then Lewis Hamilton back on the podium, just fantastic. So the battle of the Mercedes and the Ferraris is in full swing. Hopefully we can see a Ferrari kind of split the Mercedes because they've had 2 straight 1-2s. But I'm a fan of both teams. I'm just a fan of the sport overall. But yes, I do hope that Ferrari can kind of, be successful because it's been a long time. But I'm happy for whatever. Just, great racing for the sport is what I'm mainly looking for. So to shift gears for the last time, we got to talk about some of these new teasers, man. Oh, I love talking about this stuff. So we're going to talk about the Lanterns teaser trailer. There's another Daredevil teaser. Talk about Project Hail Mary a little bit. There's another Invincible teaser. And then the big thing is the possibility for a Spider-Man brand new day trailer this week. So let's go over these one by one. We'll start with Lanterns. The first thing I wrote after this was yikes. Just because I wasn't so worried before, but now I truly am. The suit looks horrible. Still no idea how this is Green Lanterns. I'm not seeing any space. I'm not seeing any green energy. I'm not seeing flying around, creating awesome things with the ring. I am just thoroughly confused by the direction of this now. I mean, there's a chance they could be doing something where, by the end of the show, like they've been doing with lots of superhero shows, over the last couple of years, where at the end of the show, everything finally makes sense and they're doing all this stuff, whatever. So that is certainly a possibility. There's a couple theories, though, as well. There is the theory that Hal Jordan's already parallaxed. That is why he is older. That is why we are on Earth and there's weird stuff going on, whatever. We're dealing with, like, local crime, maybe. I don't know. And then maybe at the end, we'll see some sort of tie into what could be coming, in the future with the Green Lanterns. But yeah, just looks really rough. That suit, I don't know why we have a brown Green Lantern suit. Just doesn't make sense to me. But I really hope, this has kind of brought something to my mind. I really am worried because I'm concerned for what's going to happen with Hal Jordan, because if you want to do the greatest Green Lantern stories, the most popular stories, the things that you really can only do with the character, you need Hal Jordan, because you can't really do Sinestro with Jon Stewart, because the whole thing with Sinestro is Hal Jordan has beef with Jon Stewart, or Hal Jordan has beef with Sinestro. Like that's the whole thing. They are arch enemies. You can't really do that with Jon Stewart. So there's a lot of things, like you can't just cover a lot of these, great Green Lantern stories and just put Jon Stewart in there. Don't get me wrong, he is a fantastic character, right? I'm just saying the most popular Green Lantern stories that you would want to be able to do for the DCU, you really can't if you make Jon Stewart your center. You're going to have to change a lot of canon and lore, and I mean, we'll see. It's okay. The ring, I think, looks cool, though. I do think the ring has potential. We did get to see the ring battery as well in like a quick shot. But really confused, really worried. Still going to watch it, and hopefully it's great. Even the part that we did see Hal Jordan flying just looked really goofy. But overall, Lanterns trailer or teaser, I have to give it a thumbs down just because I'm too concerned. I'm too concerned. Now we got another teaser. A couple more teasers came out for Daredevil Born Again Season 2, and I'm just even more excited. I think that there is potential here for it to be back on par with the Netflix seasons. I know it's kind of a crazy thing to say, but it just looks so good. And I know I'm getting so hyped about it, but the big thing is it probably won't be to that level. I think it has potential to be, but I don't think it will. And that in itself is an exciting thought to ponder, that even though Born Again Season 1, I personally am like a lot lower on it than a lot of the Netflix, seasons. My ranking is Season 3, Season 1, Season 2, and then probably Born Again. Although, for me, really, the 3 seasons of the Daredevil show on Netflix are really interchangeable. There's stuff I love in Season 2, and that's why I kind of hate putting it at the bottom. But Season 1's original arc is fantastic, and Season 3 is my favorite just because the Bullseye and Kingpin and then this kind of redemption arc for Matt Murdock is awesome. So that's where I'd put my ranking. But the fact that we're back to this point where we can even ponder the thought that we might be getting this Daredevil show that is on par with those peak like seasons of television. So that's going to be super awesome. Daredevil Season 3 is probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite season of television ever. So I'm thrilled for this. We got to see some more stuff with him interacting with Jessica Jones. We got to see more stuff with Bullseye. There's a couple cool like shots of him doing stuff with like he's like got utensils that he's using. Like he's gonna be crazy. There's gonna be some probably pretty gross kills in this season of Daredevil, but I'm excited for it. It looks like Kingpin is a lot more sinister once again. So we'll see. I'm excited to see the direction that this is going to go. Next thing is Project Hail Mary. It looks really awesome. It's coming up real soon. I've heard really great things from family and friends about the book. They're making it like everyone's making it sound like it has the potential to be an all-time sci-fi movie, and people that have had early screenings of it are also saying that. And when I first heard about it, I'm like, oh, it looks really cool. Like I really want to try to catch that in the theater. And then just with how things have gone recently, I really have to lock in and try to get a seat at the theater for this movie because it sounds like it's one of those things that if I do catch it later on at home, I'm going to be disappointed that I didn't see it in the theater. And it's going to be something that I absolutely love. So I got to figure out a time to get over there because it looks super awesome. So highly recommend Project Hail Mary just because I'm seeing a lot of great stuff. Just an awesome like sci-fi movie about science teacher having to go to space, and it's Ryan Gosling, and it's just the visuals look awesome. So looks really good. Everyone else should check it out because I want to check it out and I want to talk to people about it. So that's Project Hail Mary. Invincible had its Thrag teaser. It was like a short teaser centered around Thrag, and the animation looks very strong. We got to see some awesome shots of him, and he looks even more menacing. I just think that it looks super, super cool. Thrag is going to be, the ultimate big bad, and everything's been leading up to this. I don't know. I am even more excited, and that's coming up the soonest. That's coming up this Wednesday. The first 3 episodes of Invincible Season 4 come out. Now, I am not caught up in the books to this point at all yet. I still have a ways to go. I think by the next season in 2027, I'll have read the full, Invincible storyline. But I'm still kind of debating, do I do that and read it all at the same time or read it as the show comes out? I think I'm going to have a hard time if I wanted to go that route because I'm just going to want to read it all at once because the story is just so unbelievably compelling. So I am so thrilled for this. So yeah, Thrag looks super menacing, super powerful. You have in this teaser, Nolan's talking about how he is the strongest, how there's, if you think you're strong, he's stronger. He's crazy, you know what I mean? So it just looks super, super thrilling. I'm so excited to go over the first 3 episodes the next time I hop on here and talk about that show because I am so excited for that show. So the last thing I wanted to close with is the possibility of a Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer this week. Every time I think about the idea of a Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer, I always go back to the fact that why don't we have one yet? It's insane. Like, I don't know what they're holding off for, what the wait really has been. Because we had 5 different teasers for Avengers Doomsday. Short, again, they're not like official like full length teasers. We got these, 5 short, 30-second videos. online of Avengers Doomsday, but even that we got before this movie that's coming out in July. And in the beginning of the, in the fall, we had a, trailer for Supergirl, which is coming out just a couple weeks before Spider-Man. So this trailer is long overdue. They might be holding on to it for the reason that we're all curious, extra excited, whatever they're trying to build hype. But once this marketing campaign begins, I think that people are just going to be riding this high all the way till it comes out, because the things that we have heard about it with Hulk, with Punisher, with possibly Mr. Negative, with possibly Jean Grey, with all these different things going on, people are going to be freaking out about it. And I'm super excited. I think it has the potential to be the best Tom Holland Spider-Man. My only concern with this movie is I really love Spider-Man stories that are strictly centered around him. And what I mean by that is, in the past, right, No Way Home, he's got the 3 other Spider-Man with him. It's a fantastic movie, a fantastic theater experience, cultural moment. 3 of these Spider-Man from 3 different childhoods, excuse me, on the scene or on the screen at the same time. Unbelievable. But from a narrative standpoint, I just feel like Spider-Man has really been sidelined in his own movies a lot. I felt like Far From Home certainly was a lot more centered around him, but it's not set in New York. It's dealing with Mysterio, which is a fantastic villain, but again, it's him using Tony Stark technology. And this just always comes back to the thing where I just don't know how we are going to see Spidey get away from the whole Stark fixation. I mean, everything was Homecoming is all about him trying to impress Iron Man, all about him dealing with Stark technology, Stark this, Stark that. And I get that we're in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that's a big thing. Was I wonder what would happen if there was illegal weapon sales surrounding Stark technology. That totally makes sense that is a part of the story, because that's totally a realistic thing that would happen if we are in a universe where there's superheroes with unbelievable technology, and of course there's going to be people getting that illegally. And I think that's a great premise, and Vulture was a fantastic villain, and there's a lot of things I really like about Spider-Man Homecoming, but this Spider-Man hasn't really fully gotten to be Spider-Man yet. He's always had a lot handed to him. I'm not saying that the character hasn't gone through a lot, but I'm just saying for those of us that really love Spider-Man and him dealing with big problems, small problems, the daily things, the friendly neighborhood things, but then the big Rhino wrecking the city, the Sinister Six running free, dealing with college and dealing with school and relationships and trying to work for the Bugle, and I'm not even just talking about the Tobey Maguire movies specifically. I'm just saying those movies really did have a lot of that great stuff that we do love about Spider-Man. And I think if you can get some of that DNA within the Tom Holland films, it's going to be great. And that's just a little bit of my concern is we have Hulk rumored and Punisher rumored and all these people. I just hope that they can execute it in a way that it does not take away from it being a Spider-Man movie, because we're in a cinematic universe. It's amazing when characters interact with each other. I really want Spider-Man to interact with the Fantastic Four someday. I love the stuff where Spider-Man's the crossover stories with him and the Fantastic Four. So I just really hope that we can see something like that someday. But just do the interactions right. Don't let it just become centered around him working with Hulk or Punisher or whatever. Let them come in and out, but let it be focused on Peter Parker dealing with some sort of personal struggle that is also connected to some sort of supervillain that we haven't seen before. That is what I want to see, and I think it certainly has the potential to do that. So my excitement is at an all-time high, and once we see the trailer, We'll see if we are more excited, less excited, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's a Spider-Man movie, and I'm going to be thrilled all the way through. Even if it has some of those concerns I'm worried about, and I see that in the teaser, I'm still going to be extremely excited. So, well, with that being said, I don't really know. Did I go over on my time? Either way, I'm glad that literally like just on time. Awesome. So, I'm really glad that I got to, hop on and give you guys a mini episode and catch up on some of these things. Because things are really going to start picking up now with Invincible coming out next week, and the NHL is in almost at the end. F1 is now in full swing. Things are going to start to pick up, and there's going to be a lot more to talk about. So make sure that you stay tuned, that you're subscribed here on YouTube or on Spotify. Make sure you're following, and then check out all the descriptions to see the links to the social media wherever you're seeing this or listening. I just thank you for your support, and I thank you guys for tuning in today, and we will see you in the next one.